back to the NFL talk right now. Joining us right now, as he does each and every Friday on the Sports Bash, it is Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, and of course covering the Eagles for us over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Jeff, how you doing today?
Hey, Josh, coming out of the bullpen today for Mike, huh?
Yeah, well, Mike's got his baseball team. They're out there playing for the regionals, so it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's better than the Phillies bullpen anyway.
Yeah, well, I feel like the Phillies bullpen is probably the worst thing in Philadelphia sports right now. So, well, I don't know. What's worse, Jeff? The Eagles cornerbacks or the Phillies bullpen?
We haven't seen the Eagles cornerbacks play yet, and at least the Eagles have a good quarterback on their roster. So I think I'll go with Phillies bullpen right now. But after Darius Slay, God help us all.
Right, exactly. Speaking of that, this week I felt like the whole world was anticipating Steven Nelson signing somewhere. And we went through the whole saga where it's like, something's happening. Then he deactivates his Twitter, reactivates his Twitter, deletes tweets. Now he's going ghost protocol. So is Steven Nelson signing at all, Jeff? Or was that just a bunch of smoke screens that we all got duped by?
Maybe he felt he had a contract and it kind of backfired at the last minute, or his agent said, hey, man, you got to calm down with this stuff. Like, you're just being one big tease at this point. It's, I figure he's going to sign at some point, this week, even before that tweet, because, camp's next week. And, I'm starting to think, okay, well, when's this guy going to be here? And I still think he'll get a deal done with somebody by the weekend, but someone definitely told him, where it was in his PR camp or his agent or whoever, just told him, hey, you got to chill on the Twitter machine a bit.
Now, concerning the Eagles, we're just days away from them getting to camp, reporting, and you put out a very interesting tweet the other day about Jalen Hurts, and I feel like the more and more I read, it's like there's a dividing line right now, Jeff. There's one side of the line that people are like, hey, Jalen Hurts could play in the NFL. He could be a quarterback. Another side of the line that says he's a running quarterback, he's overrated, he never did anything in college, which we know is ridiculous, but it seems like there's no in between. Either Jalen Hurts could be a good quarterback, or people are like, he's going to stink. Because I'm watching people. So right now, the line in Vegas right now is over-under on the season for passing yards for Jalen Hurts, 213.5. And I see people who are saying, take the under, he's going to stink. And the other side, people are like, listen, he wasn't a bad quarterback last year. I'm taking the over. So what is going on with this hyper divide on Jalen Hurts?
What I think it is I don't think Eagles fans really know what they have in Jalen Hurts. And I say this to a lot of the Jalen Hurts haters, or if you want to call them haters. I don't know. Maybe they're obsessed with Carson Wentz. I don't know. Or, maybe they want Deshaun Watson or whoever. I don't know. But I will say this. In the 3 full games he played, he led the NFL in total yards, running and passing. It's a fact. And that offense was significantly better with him last year. And that's what I am basing everything off of. Like, the Eagles' offense was so dormant, and it wasn't all Carson Wentz's fault. We know that. It was the offensive line, it was the play calling. But Jalen Hurts just came in there and provided the spark Doug Peterson talked about, and look what he was able to do. Everybody wants to point out the second half. Well, the Eagles still put up a lot of yards in the second half. They just couldn't score touchdowns, where it was because their offensive line was so beat up, or they just weren't running the ball enough, or they were relying on Jalen Hurts too much. I think that's what ended up happening in the Cardinals game. But I think all the hate for Jalen Hurts comes from that Week 17 game against Washington, which, Josh, you and I know that game didn't mean anything.
Right. Yeah, you get the last game of the season, you can't hold against Jalen Hurts. That was Doug Peterson being Doug Peterson and doing weird stuff at the end of the year. But I got to say this. I think one of the things people undervalue about Jalen Hurts is the fact of the situation this year. Sirianni and his background, you drafted Devonta Smith. I just don't think those things add up to bad quarterback because, Jeff, to me, Carson Wentz by himself lost 3 games last year. And if you get better,
I agree with that.
And if you have better play at quarterback this year than last year, you're winning 7 games, in my opinion. I think this team is a 7, 8, 9 win team. I don't think they're a 4-11-1 team.
I had them going 8-9 when I did my game-by-game prediction, and I said this is all based off Jalen Hurts. And if they go 8-9, I don't think it's going to be Jalen Hurts' fault. If it is, then maybe we underestimated how much talent this team has. But look, the Eagles are going to run a lot of 11 personnel. There's going to be a lot of 3 receiver sets with this team this year, so you're going to see a lot of Devonta Smith, a lot of Jalen Reagor on the field. You're not going to see as much 12 personnel. You're going to see running backs get the ball out of the backfield, catching passes. You're going to see Kenny Gainwell. You're going to see Boston Scott. You're going to see Miles Sanders. The offensive line is extremely healthy this year. We seem to forget Brandon Brooks has been arguably the best right guard in football since he signed with the Eagles, and he did not play last year. Lane Johnson, high ankle sprain. That obviously hurt him. You're seeing what's happening with Michael Thomas. It's still bothering him, and he's a receiver. He needs that ankle heck of a lot more than Lane Johnson does at this point. Jason Kelsey had pretty much an all-pro year last year. Isaac Seumalo was good, and Jordan Mailata showed a lot of promise. Like, this offensive line is going to keep this guy upright. It really, the only thing Jalen Hurts has to correct in his game right now is after that first read isn't there, don't take off right away. You got to read your second and your third progression. And I think Nick Sirianni is going to teach him that. I really do. I like the direction Eagles are going in. And I'll tell you what, Josh, Brian Johnson, quarterback coach, very underrated hire for them.
I love that you brought up Brian Johnson because that's part of the big thing to me, which is Sirianni and the Eagles brought in a guy who was completely outside the organization for a reason. I don't think they hired that guy just because, he's known Jalen Hurts since he was a kid. No, there's more to it than that. This is a guy who mentored and was with Dak Prescott at Mississippi State. This is a guy that Dan Mullins trusted in every single way. So, and you're bringing in a college guy into the pros, it's got to be for a reason. So I just feel like that the people who are negative on Jalen Hurts, and I love the stat you put out there because, listen, this guy was productive in those 3 full starts. It's not like he was out there throwing ducks. And let's be realistic. When you're throwing that many throwaways, anybody's completion percentage is going to be bad. The offensive line was horrible at that point in the season.
Yeah, it's the same the same people criticize Jalen Hurts are the people criticize Donovan McNabb for his completion percentage. And as we all know, Donovan McNabb threw a lot of passes away. Jalen Hurts did that. And you got to look at every single play, what's going on here. Sometimes throwing balls in the dirt or throwing balls 20 feet away from a receiver is good because they don't lead to interceptions. And, this is what I really took out of Jalen Hurts last year. It was a guy who did not think he was going to play that much last year, but had the mentality he was going to take Carson Wentz's job, and he took advantage of the situation he was provided. If Jalen Hurts was terrible last year, the Eagles would have traded up and drafted the quarterback. They would have gotten Trey Lance. They would have gotten Zach Wilson. They would have gotten somebody. And look, just because they're interested in players, they're doing their job. Like, especially quarterback. You have to be interested in quarterbacks just in case. That doesn't mean they don't have faith in Jalen Hurts. They're going to work with what they got. But you got to see, like, hey, is Zach Wilson – is this guy ceiling higher than Jalen Hurts? Is Deshaun Watson? I mean, how do you pass up on a top 5 quarterback? And we're just talking football related. How do you pass up on that? And you can get him at a lower price. That's fair to look at. But Jalen Hurts overall, I do think he deserves the 2021 season to see what he got. Because as you said, Josh, he's been productive at Alabama, at Oklahoma. People just remember him because he's the guy who got benched for Tua. That's really what it comes down to.
Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, joining us here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN FM, at Jeff Kerr CBS on Twitter. I'm Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill on a happy hour Friday here on 97.3 ESPN. Jeff, a little more serious topic is basically the NFL put out a memo and it created a firestorm in terms of the COVID stuff. And this is, to me, this is a less of a conversation about science and about politics, because I have no interest in half of that conversation. And I don't think anybody in their right mind is, okay? My interest is, how does this happen in a world where everything's supposed to be collectively bargained? The NFL all of a sudden just drops this memo, and this many players had no idea. So either this is a huge legal gray area mess the NFL has created, or NFL players are the most uninformed union members on the planet.
I think it's the latter, honestly. Like, D. Smith and the NFLPA, they had to be talking to the NFL about this. And really, I don't think that much changed from the prior year. I mean, I think it's more of the NFL told these guys, do you really want to live in a bubble the entire time? Do you want to like put your mask on and live in hotel rooms? Well, no, I just think the NFL is hell bent on we don't want games canceled. We do not want them postponed. We are not doing a week 19. We are not playing football in the March. We extended our season. We're not doing this. And there is something out there that does it prevent COVID? No, but it does prevent you from getting really, really sick from COVID. Like you will not be on a ventilator because of this. And, look, I'm not preaching to the choir here. I'm just saying there's actual facts out there. And I just think NFL players, look, they have every right to do what they want, but the league is pretty much look, the NFL is a private entity. And I'll give myself a perfect example. I cannot go cover Eagles camp next week without that vaccine. I just can't do it. It's the same way for the players. And they have a choice, but they're also putting their team at risk.
Well, part of the other thing is that also there are a lot of guys who have their own reasons. And as we saw on Twitter with the Buffalo Bills players, between, what was it, Christian?
Keep arguing about it.
They're still arguing about it. It's 24 hours later between Feliciano, Hughes, Cole Beasley. I forget the other guy who jumped in there as well. And at the end of the day, they're like,
Diggs had a cryptic tweet about it. I'll tell you what, for a Super Bowl team, that's a big issue right now. I'm starting to really get worried about them.
Right, and that's my other thing, and that is, listen, as Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott said yesterday, listen, this is a personal choice. There are some other ancillary medical issues that go along with this, obviously, but guess what? We're not the issue the NFL is going with this is not a medical thing. It's not a science thing. This is an agreed upon set of protocols. And with Rick Dennison in Minnesota, you knew the rule, you knew the situation, but yet you didn't follow through on the rule. So if the rule is something, whether you like it or not, you got to play along with the rules. And guess what? That's to me the bigger issue. The bigger issue, Jeff, isn't whether you're anti-vax or pro-vax. This is a situation of these are the rules, and you got to deal with the rules and the ramifications of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the bylaws. Like, if you and organizations are going to do this because they are going to pay money if their game gets postponed. They are going to the financial ramifications. It's almost like a fine for any lost revenue. That's tickets. That's concessions. That's workers for both sides. That is not good at all. So organizations are going to tell these private businesses are going to tell these teams and these players, look, you got to get this done. And the Minnesota Vikings, I know they released a statement basically saying Rick Dennison hasn't technically been fired, but that's a pretty powerful statement. You're basically saying, hey, if you're not bought in, how can our players be bought in? They basically used him as an example right now.
Yeah. And I don't think this is going to end anytime soon, because I think as training camp progresses, we're going to see a lot more of these conversations, sadly enough, just because of just the nature of the world we live in. Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, joining us here on the Sports Bash Happy Hour Friday on 97.3 ESPN. A couple more things, Jeff, before I let you go. I love the fact that the Cowboys are on Hard Knocks. Not because I love the Cowboys, but because of the fact that historically, the last 10 times the Cowboys were favored to win the division in Vegas, they only won the division once. And every team that's been on Hard Knocks has never been to the Super Bowl. So basically, the Cowboys being on Hard Knocks and being favored in the division means they are not going to be a great team this year. So I'm looking forward to Hard Knocks because I know it's going to be a dumpster fire, and I'm all here with my popcorn for the entertainment.
I am too. This is one of the first years I'm actually looking forward to Hard Knocks. I think Hard Knocks, personally, is one of the most overrated shows on the planet. And last year was terrible.
Last year was rough, man. Last year was really rough, the way they handled it. And, I mean, it was great if you wanted to learn about COVID protocols, but it was horrible in terms of just general entertainment.
I think the last year I really got into Hard Knocks was that year with Jeff Fisher and the Rams. What was that, 2016, 2017?
I think it was 2016, yeah.
Yeah, and that whole player cut thing and all that stuff. I mean, that was entertainment. But the Dallas Cowboys, they are never short of drama. And I can't wait to see how Dak's doing, what he's doing. And look, I get enough of this at CBS. from our great insider from them, Patrick Walker. He does a great job for them. So you hear things, but you're going to get to see them live. And you're going to see Zeke be Zeke and Dak be Dak and Jerry Jones saying, I can buy anything in the world but the one thing I want, and that's the Super Bowl, because you can't buy that. And it's going to be just an entertaining couple weeks here of what this team's going to do. And you're going to hear the overhype. You're going to be like, we got Dak, we got Amari Cooper, we got Michael I can't wait till someone, like, there's a fight at practice or something. That's what I really want to see. What happens over there in Oxford, and just this whole thing just crashing and burning. This team should win the NFC East this year, but they are going to find a way not to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch it unravel, because we know something's going to go wrong. And there's going to be – because I remember the year that they had Rex Ryan and the Jets. And that was also the year they went to the AFC Championship game. But if you remember, there was that one episode where the Jets were like, that's not how it went down. They edited the film. They cut something out. They didn't really have – They tried to make it big. I know that's going to happen this year with the Cowboys. There's something that's going to be on Hard Knocks they didn't want on film, said, or heard. It's going to be like when Todd Haley and Hugh Jackson were arguing in the coach's room. There's something that's going to happen, and we're all going to laugh about it, and we're talking about it for the rest of the season, because the Cowboys are just going to be the Cowboys. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they honestly are. And look, the Cowboys drive ratings, and they create clicks. That's just the way they are. They generate content, good or bad. And that, at the end of the day, that's all Jerry Jones cares about. The Dallas Cowboys being the most publicized team in the NFL, no matter how mediocre they are, and Jerry World. That's all he cares about. And he'll never win a Super Bowl that way. He will. The only time he's going to see a Super Bowl is when he hosts it.
There you go. Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, joins us every Friday here on 97.3 ESPN. Jeff, before I let you go, I've been asking everybody, what are they consuming this weekend? What is their happy hour Friday weekend drink of choice? What is yours?
Well, I am a Victory Sour Monkey type of guy, so that will probably be my choice after I get done my last run here today. I run 10 miles a day, but I do like intervals, because 10 miles is long your legs, but
yeah.
You do the intervals. So yeah, I'll probably do that. There is another Eagles writer I know, Louis DeBasi. He always gets these like sour beers from this brewery in Buffalo. That's where he's based out of, and he sent me this orange creamsicle one I really want to try. So that might be the move tonight, but I got a couple of Victory Sour Monkeys in there that need to be downed.
The Victory Sour Monkeys sound better than the orange creamsicle to me, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, I like orange creamsicle, but I'm intrigued.
Okay.
That's what I should say.
Gotcha.
Intrigued.
Yeah, I don't run 10 miles. I go to the gym, and I do HIIT workouts and stuff. I can't run that far. My knees will give out on me at this point. I've ripped them up too many times, so bless you for being able to run that much.
Yeah, for me, it's my ankle. I play basketball 4 times a week, and I run 5 times a week. It's my ankle's fine. It's just sore, and it's more of my foot. And it doesn't hurt when you run, but when you take those shoes off, you're like, shouldn't have done it.
Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, every Friday. He'll be back on Monday with Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. At Jeff Kerr, CBS on Twitter. Jeff, great conversation today. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, Josh, you too, man. Hey, we got, 4 days till training camp?
Yep.
It's here, man. I cannot wait.